Alan, I'm glad you're here.
Have you seen him?
No, he's a pediatrician. I'm not going to fall apart. I'm not.
All right, darling. Just quiet. It's all right.
Look, I know how the both of you feel. I feel the same way whenever PJ gets sick or he's hurt. The important thing, though, is to just be calm.
Diana's right.
I know it. And also remember how common these kind of infections are with preemies. And I told you that, and it's important to remember. Also that he's being taken care of by the best hospital in the entire world. Diana, thank you. Thank you. My rational mind knows that. It's just nothing can happen to him, Alan.
We aren't going to let anything happen to him, Monica.
He's got to live. He's got to.
Tests on a baby, they take a long time.
He's got to live, Alan. He's got to live.
He will. Look, these kind of respiratory ailments, they're not uncommon in premature babies.
But he is running a very high temperature.
They're going to take care of the fever. They're going to take care of the infection as well. But you've got to believe that he's going to pull through this.
I'm sorry it took so long.
Can they control the infection?
Hopefully, yes, but we ran into something else.
What? What?
The x-rays revealed a heart problem.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry to have to tell you this, but your little boy's heart is enlarged.
Oh, my God. Steve, that could mean any number of things.
It could mean immediate exploratory surgery.
Did you rule out an arteriogram?
Absolutely. It's too risky. The baby's extremities are extremely cold, bluish, indicating very poor circulation.
Steve, could he survive surgery? I mean, he's just a tiny baby.
Monica, as a doctor, you know that surgery is the only answer after we clear up the infection. If we find out what the cause is, we have to go in. Otherwise, there'd be no chance for your son at all. Enlarged heart?
If it's the aortic valve, we can wait until he's older, stronger.
That's true, but we don't know that, Alan.
Steve is right. We have to find out what it is. It could be a hole in the heart.
Or the ventricle valve.
Or, God forbid, it could be the aortic and the ventricle. What are you talking about? It's not the baby.
Yes, he has an enlarged heart.
Steve thinks he needs immediate surgery.
Oh, Alan. Monica. Oh, this is so unfair. I know. Of course it is. I mean, he's so tiny, so innocent. Why is it? He fought too hard to get into this world. He fought so hard to live.
He's going to keep on fighting, Monica.
Yes, of course he is.
You know, in a sense, this respiratory infection was a blessing in disguise. If it hadn't occurred, then we would never have taken the x-rays and discovered the heart problem. It didn't show up before.
Well, have you decided who is going to do the surgery?
Is Cunningham available?
Yeah, he's standing by with a couple of pediatric surgeons. But if it were my child, I'd do my damnedest to try to get Rick Weber.
No, Rick can't operate. That's impossible.
Why do you say that?
Because he has a lot of problems. I mean, he's out of town.
Monica, Rick would put aside his problems in a second and come back to help you. You know that.
I'm sure she knows.
Well, is there any way to locate Rick?
Oh, I'm sure we can find him. That is, if you both agree that he's the man for the job.
Personally, I don't think anybody would work harder to save our son. Don't you agree, Monica?
I know he would do everything humanly possible.
All right. Then let's find him. Let's get him here on the double.
Well, now, what about Lesley? Maybe she knows where he is.
Yes, I'm sure she does.
All right. I'll get in touch with Lesley, and she'll get in touch with Rick. Excuse me.
Me to join you. I think I really needed someone to talk to. I feel so alone.
You know, the morning after Monica gave birth, I told you I wanted to do whatever I could to help.
I owe you an apology for the way I behaved that morning.
You were upset. You were exhausted.
It was a very emotional ordeal delivering that baby.
Yes, I'm sure it was for you.
Gail, you know, don't you?
Know what?
About the night Rick and Monica spent together.
Leslie, the only reason that Monica confided in me was that she was so frightened of what Alan might do to her if he found out. But it was the night she fell down the stairs. She had called us earlier. We were on our way over there to get her out of the house. Alan was accusing her of all kinds of dreadful things.
No, only truthful things.
Leslie, Rick and Monica had one night together, but he loves you.
I just came from my therapist.
Monica saw her.
Mm-hmm. She had insisted upon seeing Rick, too. And I just learned some of the things that he told her. I think that's why he ran away, because he knew he had told her the truth. Among other things, he admitted to Irene that he finds Monica a very exciting woman to be with. Now, where does that leave me? Poor little pitiful me.
Excuse me, please, Lesley.
Yes.
Lesley, I've got to get in touch with Rick. It's very important.
What is it, Alan?
It's the baby. He's desperately ill.
General Hospital in Port Charles, New York. Dr. Weber's a surgeon here. He'll understand the message. The Quartermain baby has a serious heart ailment. He'll understand that he's needed at once. Thank you very much. We appreciate your efforts. That was the manager of the hotel. He personally will see to it that Rick gets the message.
Thank you, Lesley. Thank you. Come in. Come in, Monica. Come in. Sit down. You look like you're going to faint.
I'm all right.
Are you sure?
I'm just worried, Alan.
Leslie just spoke to the hotel in Florida where Rick is staying, and she left a message.
But you didn't talk to Rick.
He was out.
She spoke to the desk clerk and the manager. For sure, he will get the message.
Thank you very much, Leslie.
She's volunteered to stay here and man the telephone just in case Rick calls. I've got to get up to ICU to see Steve.
What about?
He wanted to see me. He asked me to come up there as soon as we finish phoning Florida.
Look, Alan, if Steve wants immediate surgery,
I won't make that decision without you, Monica.
well, then I should be there with you.
No. You stay here. If Rick calls, I want you to talk to him. I want you to tell him that we're depending on him. He's got to get back to Port Charles immediately.
Are you sure you want Rick to operate?
Alan wants Rick. I think he should be here. Steve's message.
Yes, he phoned me in the office.
Well, he should be coming out soon.
Hello, dear.
Alan, I can't tell you how...
I know how you feel. Believe me, I know that you love Monica and the baby as much as I do.
Where is she? Does she need me?
She's in my office. Leslie's waiting there with her to see if Rick calls.
But you haven't been able to get in touch with Rick then?
No, not yet, Steve. I'll call the hotel in Florida. Yes, Steve.
Excuse me, I've been getting more opinions from the other surgeons.
Yeah, they think we ought to go ahead, don't they?
Yes, as soon as possible.
Monica wants to wait for Rick. So do I.
What's the word on him?
Nothing yet. Leslie left an emergency message for him.
Alan, you know how I feel about Rick doing this surgery, but we have no way of knowing how long he's going to be away from that hotel. I'm just alerting you to the fact that we may have to select another surgeon.
All right. I'm going to have to talk to Monica about this.
Yes, of course, but I must remind you that time is getting critical.
Poor Alan. He doesn't realize what he's doing to us, asking us to wait here together.
Look, Leslie, if Rick calls and you would rather I didn't talk to him...
No, Alan wants you to. And I think maybe all things considered, the two of you should talk now.
Oh, come on, Leslie, please.
Let's have things out in the open, Monica. What do you say? A child's life is at stake here.
Really hate my son?
I couldn't hate any child. And this one happens to be my husband. I know, you told Rick that it wasn't, that you only wanted it to be his, but Rick knows as well as you and I do that he's the father, so let's us not play games, huh?
Right. Yes, Rick is the father of my baby. When I found out I was pregnant, it was, too late to do anything about it. I had gone back to Alan, and Rick had gone back to you.
And I'm sure you both regret it.
Rick went back to you because he loves you, Lesley. He told me that.
And you?
I went back to Alan because I had to. I thought when I realized that Alan and I might make a go of it, that the night Rick and I spent together would never touch our lives again, or anyone else's. But that's when I found out I was pregnant.
And you decided to have the baby and pretend it was Alan.
Maybe I made a terrible mistake. Maybe I should have gone away. I should have had the baby and put it up for adoption,
Except it was Rick's baby.
a lot more to it than that, Lesley. I grew up in an orphanage. I live with the haunting knowledge that my mother, for some reason, didn't want me.
Maybe for the same kind of reason?
I think about that a lot, Lesley. Maybe I was a love child. I have no way of knowing. But I do want you to know something. I never, ever meant to hurt you. I mean, if you hadn't delivered my baby, if you hadn't been there, if you hadn't heard me say what I did, maybe all of this tragedy could have been avoided.
No, it couldn't have. Eventually, it would have had to come out because you love Rick still. And you want to be able to share your baby.
It could never happen, Lesley. I am too afraid of Alan. I am so afraid that he is going to find out one of these days that it isn't his baby. Maybe that's my punishment. Maybe that's what I have to live with the rest of my life because it isn't going to end. Because Tracy Quartermain is determined to prove that that baby isn't Alan so she can get her grandfather's trust fund. So where does it end, Lesley, or will it ever end?
I don't know. Believe me. I wish I did.
Well, perhaps it will end with the death of my baby.
You can think thoughts like that and still want Rick to operate? You could do that to him? You would allow him to live with that kind of guilt if that child dies on the table? I didn't say it, Monica. You did.
All I know, Lesley, is Rick is the best available surgeon for this. So it's his decision. He can operate on his own son or not.
Any word yet?
Not yet, no.
Lesley, I'd appreciate it if I could speak to Monica alone, please.
Oh, yes, of course. I'll keep checking with Rick's hotel.
Thank you. I appreciate it.